Hey everybody, going live to cover our weekly live training. Just give me a moment. Mute Facebook real quick. Going. Cool. Okay, awesome. So today I'm going to be covering how to manage mental and physical fatigue and consistent training while you have a very busy schedule. So this was part of I did a poll in the group yesterday, and Jacob Stone had requested this. And a lot of you guys voted on it as well. So I have some really, I think, very exciting content that's going to help you guys a lot in regards to this topic. These are all things that I wish that I had known earlier in my life in general, but specifically when it comes to like my health and energy and like performance in the gym. So I think you guys are gonna like it a lot. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay. All right. So I'm not gonna go into the factors of like motivation and how to be consistent even when you don't have motivation, because I already did a training specific to that a couple weeks ago. It's I basically named it 7 keys to guarantee that you reach your goals without motivation. So all of those apply here, but I'm not going to go into detail there. So if you want to watch that training or read the guide on it, let me know and I can send it to you. What do you do when you are struggling with mental and physical fatigue and you're struggling being consistent in your training because your life is so busy? I totally understand that. Not all of you guys know, but I have 2 careers. I am a fitness and nutrition coach, and I'm also an actress. So I'm sure as that, would imply, like I have a lot of goals in my life. Like there are a lot of things that I want to achieve, as well as like to be physically fit and strong and athletic. And I'm the type of person where like I don't want to give up one of those things for the other. I could describe myself as essentially an idealist. Like I want the best of everything. So what I'm trying to get at is I totally understand how, like, when you have a busy schedule and there are a lot of things that you want to accomplish in your career and in your fitness and health, I totally get that. And so with that said, I can confidently say that had I not, in essence, discovered or at least come across the science on lifting only 2 times a week, there's no way that I would be able to be as fit as I am, strong as I am, and actively pursue a coaching career, helping people, and an acting career, acting in films. So we're not going to focus on that, but that is going to be the first key step whenever it comes to when you have this mental fatigue and physical fatigue and you have a hard time being consistent with your training when you're so busy. That's going to be the first step, because if you're so busy and so fatigued and you're trying to lift like 4 to 6 times a week, which the vast majority of programs require you to do to see results, then you're either going to stay extremely fatigued and it's going to get worse, or you're going to end up compromising in one of those areas: career, health, or fitness. But you don't have to if you train the way that I teach in my group, strong and lean lifting 2 times a week. By the way, if y'all want the science on that, let me know. I can tag you in the video or send you the guide that covers all the science on all that and how you can get better results lifting that way. Okay, so now that that's over with, I want to get to the meat of this training, which is going to basically teach you guys how you can improve your mental and physical fatigue, basically improving your energy, focus, and concentration. And one of the key steps, like when I say key, like this is a huge piece of the puzzle. And that is resyncing your circadian rhythm. What is your circadian rhythm? Your circadian rhythm is basically in simple terms, it's your body's inner biological clock in relation to light and dark cycles, meaning, daytime versus nighttime. And let me show you guys a picture of, in essence, what a circadian rhythm is and what it encompasses. So let's see, share screen. Okay. Oops, that's the wrong one. So this one. So this is basically your circadian rhythm in extremely simplistic terms. This does not cover everything that your circadian rhythm does. But when your circadian rhythm is properly synced with light and dark cycles, this is basically the biological clock that your body should be following. If you're starting here, you're waking up at 6 a.m. Again, key phrase, if your body circadian rhythm is properly synced, then you should have about your sharpest rise in blood pressure here, bowel movement around here, highest testosterone secretion around 9 a.m., high alertness at 10 a.m., best coordination at 3:30, fastest reaction at 5:30, et cetera, until you get to the evening. This is when melatonin secretion starts, which melatonin is the hormone that helps us to relax and fall asleep easily. And then you repeat that process day in and day out. So again, keep in mind, that's a very simplistic terms explanation. We're going to go into more detail of how all resyncing your circadian rhythm helps with so many factors, including your energy. Okay. Okay. So how do you resync your circadian rhythm? The number one greatest tool that you can do is to see the sunrise. When you look at the sunrise, so I'm in Texas right now, it's summer. Where I'm located, the sun has been rising at 6:32 a.m. So when you wake up at, like, say, 6 o'clock, you go outside around 6:30 to watch the sunrise. What that does is the sun emits different ratios of light rays at different parts of the day. So during sunrise, there is a high ratio of mostly red light, infrared light, and blue light. And it has an actual biological response in our bodies whenever we see that sunlight, sunrise with our eyes. So basically, when you go outside to look at the sunrise, say 6:30, you only need to do it for about 2 to 5 minutes in order to get this effect, where it, in essence, helps to resync your circadian rhythm. And when I say resync your circadian rhythm, it's going to help you to wake up with more energy earlier in the day, typically around sunrise. It's going to sync your hormones for the day, because our hormones don't have like a continuous same level all throughout the day and night. It's going to vary at different levels at different times. And if your circadian rhythm is synced, it's going to do it optimally at optimal times. So but if your circadian rhythm is unsynced, that's not going to happen in the ideal ratios at the right time. So getting that daily sunlight, especially the sunrise, you just need 2 to 5 minutes, is going to help to resync your circadian rhythm. And it's going to help with a lot of different factors, which we're going to go into detail in just a second. So basically, it's not healthy to be a night owl. Like, if you let's say you have a habit of like waking up at 11 a.m. and you go to bed at say 2 a.m. or even later. Basically your circadian rhythm is unsynced. And your body is not going to be able to produce the hormones that it needs in the right amounts, right times, at least in a optimal way. I'm not saying that it can't do that. It's just a lot harder on your body because you're basically not getting that sunlight exposure like we are designed to operate from. So when you're exposed to specifically sunlight from the sunrise, those light rays speak to your pineal gland and your hypothalamus, which basically communicates to your body like, hey, this is the time to wake up. This is the time to get going and start to produce all these hormones. So it has a really like basically like an incredible biological effect on our bodies that is extremely beneficial. So when you get this sunrise light in your eyes, you don't want to do it through windows because windows can block certain light frequencies. So being outside is key. And again, you only need 2 to 5 minutes directly looking at the sun as it is rising to get this benefit. And as you keep doing it, you'll notice that you'll start to wake up naturally closer to sunrise, and you'll wake up naturally with more energy. And it's also going to have an effect on how easily you fall asleep later in the day, but slightly earlier because your body is resyncing its circadian rhythm. So consistency is key over perfection. When it comes to changing any habit in a positive way in your life, don't let perfection discourage you from being consistent. Like let's say that you have to be at work at 6 a.m. before sunrise. That's totally fine. All you have to do is say you're at work, go outside for like 2 to 5 minutes at 6:30, 6:32, whatever sunrise is for your time, and you're going to get that benefit. Or let's say that you're driving during that time. Well, just roll down the windows and look out towards the east, which is where the sun is rising, and get that light exposure to your eyes, and you'll still get the benefits. So it doesn't have to be perfect to still get these benefits. Now, I know there are going to be quite a few of you who are like, I don't want to wake up around sunrise. Like, I'm going to be exhausted. I totally get it. I used to, before I came across this knowledge, I used to be resistant towards that. But now that I know the knowledge, like I want to soak up all the benefits. And I promise you, if you keep practicing this, waking up around sunrise, getting sunlight in your eyes during sunrise, your body will naturally shift to where you start to wake up with more energy, and all that stuff. And okay, so let's say that, again, you typically wake up at 11 a.m. You're more than welcome to like do that sudden jump if you want to, but you don't have to get into that process. Like if you need to ease into it, like start waking up an hour earlier than you're used to, that's totally fine too. So let's see. Okay, cool. Yeah, so what I was talking about earlier, how the light rays speak to our pineal gland and hypothalamus. It basically tells our body to regulate and start producing hormones that our body needs. It tells our body to produce hormones to regulate body temperature, heart rate, decrease hunger signals, improve improve mood, improve your thyroid hormones, adrenal glands, ovaries, testes. So it really does speak to so many thousands of bodily processes in our bodies. After that, you're going to want to have breakfast within an hour of sunrise or waking up. So, and the reason why is because our bodies need energy for the day. I know intermittent fasting is extremely popular. I'm not a big fan of it. It's not, there's nothing special about it. um, Especially if you're a woman, it can be very hard physiologically on a woman's body, because we respond to those certain stress hormones that it makes our body produce. We're more susceptible to that. But yeah, so eat breakfast, mostly proteins and fats. Try to stay minimal at carbs within an hour of sunrise or waking up. Okay, so this next one is going to be even more impactful. And that is, you are going to want to have 20 minutes outside during UVA rise. What is UVA rise? UVA rise is basically where the sun is 10 degrees above the horizon. And the reason why is, remember how earlier I said how the sun emits different light rays and different ratios depending on the time of day. Well, UVA rise has a different ratio of light rays, specifically in ultraviolet rays. And when you get exposure to that around UVA rise, it has a significantly more powerful impact on our hormones than any other time of the day. So you actually can get UVA rays between, I don't remember the exact window, but I want to say it's maybe about 9 hours throughout the day. But the most impactful time to get UVA rays is UVA rise. So how do you know when UVA rises? There is this really cool app called Circadian. I think it's called Circadian. Let me see real quick. I'm gonna show you guys a picture. Okay, let me share my screen again. Okay, so it's this app right here, Circadian. And it basically can have if you trigger it, it can have an alarm that tells you when UVA rise is. So for me, living in Texas, tomorrow's UVA rise is about around 7:30. So I'm gonna see the sunrise at 6:30 for 2 to 3 minutes. And then at 7:30, I'm gonna have about a 20-minute walk outside. Now, it doesn't have to be a walk. The main point is that you're getting that exposure to those rays at UVA rise. And for here, you don't directly have to look at the sun. As long as you're outside without sunglasses, that is so key and crucial that you're not wearing sunglasses. Otherwise, it does not have the effect that it needs to. So yeah, as long as you're outside, just getting light exposure in general, you're gonna have the exposure to the UVA rays that are the most impactful. So where I learned this, one of the sources is her name is Carrie Bennett. She talks a lot about quantum biology and its effect on health. And to quote her, she says that UVA light activates really important cascades involving pathways that affect our brain chemistry, pain and inflammation levels, our ability to burn body fat, increase libido, appetite, and more. And this only happens with morning UVA light. So, and she frequently says that, and I mentioned this earlier, that to have this significant hormonal response in our bodies, the most impactful time to get that is the UVA rise light. So to go into further detail about what getting the UVA rays does to our bodies, it basically helps our body to, even more so than the sunrise, to release the hormones in the right amounts at the right times. So one of the hormones that it helps our body to release is serotonin, which makes your brain and body feel good. So you're waking up in the morning and your mind and your body, they feel good. So that's going to be beneficial when it comes to being consistent with your training and overcoming that mental fatigue. The serotonin in the morning from the UVA then converts into melatonin when it's dark. So that means that it's also going to help you to sleep better that night, fall asleep and stay asleep better that night. And then UVA also helps the body to produce dopamine, which is another feel-good hormone, norepinephrine, adrenaline. And these are all things that help us to feel good, motivated, energetic, and focused throughout the day. So if you're struggling with mental fatigue, physical fatigue, then watching the sunrise and getting the UVA rays is going to be crucial to helping you to improve all of that. So it's extremely impactful. So the UVA rays, they also help POMC, which is a chemical in the brain. And when POMC is exposed to UVA, it can then help to improve your appetite, inflammation, pain levels, libido. So guys, like it it really does like help so many bodily processes, so many hormones, both from like a just improving your body's function to like just feeling good mentally and physically, all kinds of amazing stuff. So please don't make the mistake of underestimating the great impact that shifting your habits to like getting more sunlight, especially in the morning at sunrise and at UVA rise, is going to have on your body and on your mind, even if you're extremely busy. And on that note, like if you're extremely busy, and let's say that you have a habit of, sleeping in and later into the morning and going to bed late, isn't waking up earlier to see the sunrise, isn't that going to make you more productive overall just by waking up earlier? So it has multiple effects. Okay. Okay, so continuing further on the topic of like being consistent with your training. So if if you're having a hard time with the mental and physical fatigue, then getting that sunlight is going to help a lot. And then also, like let's say you're working extremely long hours and you're working 6-7 days a week, then you're gonna benefit more in terms of the consistency area if you're doing your workouts in the morning before work. So and Jacob, like I'm specifically thinking of you because I'm familiar with your work schedule and all that stuff. So Jacob, like if you just start waking up earlier and getting that sunrise light in your eyes and then eating breakfast that's mostly proteins and fats, and then around UVA rise, which is typically 1 to 2 hours after sunrise, and you're getting that exposure for about 20 minutes, and then you go for a quick workout before work, and you only have to work out 2 times a week, if you're working out effectively, like the way that I teach, then that's going to mitigate a ton of the mental fatigue that accumulates, throughout the day and throughout the week. And then another tip that I can give you guys when it comes to like overcoming that mental fatigue and being consistent with your training is have some strong coffee before a workout. I personally like light roast. There is a there's a higher concentration of caffeine in light roast coffee, and I personally like the way it tastes better. So I'll drink about 12 ounces of strong light roast coffee before my workouts, and it helps a lot. And there are studies that show that caffeine before a workout does help to improve your performance in the gym and your mental focus. If you don't want to drink coffee, by the way, you should always buy organic coffee because coffee is one of the highest pesticide containing ingredients. So you should buy it organic. Another thing that you can do as a pre-workout, let me pull it up real quick for you guys. I'm not a big fan of most pre-workouts because the vast majority of them do have harmful gut ingredients in them, like citric acid, silicon dioxide. But I'm going to show you one that is really clean, does not have any of those filler ingredients that can cause gut harm. Let's see, what is it called? Oh, I remember. Sorry guys, just bear with me real quick. Okay. Share my screen again so you guys can see. Oops. There we go. Okay. So it's called the Genius brand. The pre-workout is called Genius Pre. It is a little pricey, so coffee is going to be cheaper overall. But yeah, it doesn't have citric acid, doesn't have silicon dioxide. So this is the cleanest pre-workout that I have ever seen. And I've looked at quite a bit of brands. So let's see how much caffeine that it has. Oops, here we go. I don't see the caffeine content, but it's going to have other compounds in it that helps to like probably provide a pump and things like that. So let me check if you guys had any questions real quick. If y'all have any questions, just put it in the chat. Okay, awesome. Well, cool. Thanks guys for watching. If y'all have questions later on, just let me know, and I will see you guys during next week's live training.